That thing's like 5 or 6 degrees
Very
toe down, where the previous one was like a degree or 2. Beautiful.
Oh,
and watch this.
Comes out way different. Go
Yeah! Come on now.
Let's go. What up?
Nothing. You?
Not a lot, dude. We're outside today, so that's cool.
It is, yeah. We have a beautiful backdrop, being as it's fall in Colorado.
Yep.
Pretty much the best place on earth for sure. So we got pitching today. So let's discuss the golf club first, because it's not talked about enough. Simply toe side, heel side, and then we have 3 different surfaces on the bottom portion of the golf club. So we've got leading edge, which is the knife portion of the golf club. The bounce is located on the opposing side here, so it's this beveled edge, and like you see all these different bounces. But this is where the bounce is. Most people think the bounce is the sole.
It's not the sole.
It is not the sole. It's the back portion of the golf club here.
Okay, got it.
So we've got leading edge, bounce, and sole.
Okay.
And heel based and toe based.
Gotcha.
Always. There is never a time where we are heel biased, heel based when we're setting up the golf club.
So never really
exactly
low with the handle, heel dominant.
Exactly. Never, ever, ever.
Okay, got it.
Why?
Well, that's gonna probably lead to a little bit more digging into the ground. Club gets stuck through there.
Yep.
That would be my idea.
Yep, and it can. We can still do that with the toe side, and what you're referring to is the leading edge.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
But the heel side, we've got this spoon over here, right? And especially in like heavy rough lies.
Sure.
You throw a spoon into like that amount of material, what's it gonna do?
Twist it.
It's gonna grab it.
Yeah.
Right?
So the spoon you're talking about, this area right here?
Exactly. So the hosel.
The hosel. Okay.
Acts as that spoon, right?
Got
that
it.
cavity. So if I have a heel bias golf club, meaning the golf club's sitting like this, right? And I go into that medium, that spoon grabs. So what is this going to do? Is it going to speed up or slow down?
That part would slow down.
This slows down.
Yeah.
Is this into the turf?
No.
So what's it going to keep doing?
So the toe will speed up.
Speeds up. So if you
Gotcha.
like drop kicking it, sure, use the heel all day, baby.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, just how the golf club is designed, like as far as heel bias and more toe bias, as far as ball speed is concerned, with irons, this is a hotter, faster portion over here. Okay, so if I have a golf club, even like a tight lie sitting down here, so toes off the ground, I can't use this any longer because it's off the ground. So where's my ball position going to be sitting?
Heel bias, for sure.
So I'd set up where the golf ball would more or less be in the heel. So even if I hit one solidly, meaning I'm hitting it where I set up to the golf ball, that's a really hot spot, right?
More towards the heel is hotter in terms of ball speed?
Exactly. So even if you hit it really solid, meaning that we're controlling our bottom out, right? I'm not hitting it prior to hit that drop kicky shot, right? I'm not interacting with the turf back here. This is just tight lie, like I'm boom, right up into the golf ball.
Got it.
Solid, controlling the bottom out. The ball is going to come out way faster than if I use the toe side or even the middle portion of the golf club.
And you like it to come out a little bit more dead around the greens?
Absolutely. Around the greens, we do not need speed. We don't want speed out of a golf ball, generally speaking. And again, this is a pitch shot video. We're not going to be talking about chipping in this particular video.
Sure.
And, well, let me ask you, how do you like define pitching versus chipping? Like, how would you,
yeah, I mean,
where's the dividing line?
Chipping stays on the ground quicker, or gets on the ground quicker. And it's a hard place to divide it, I guess, but really, like, chipping, I'm taking probably less than full loft. I'm taking a gap wedge or a pitching wedge or something like that and getting it on the ground quickly, letting it roll.
Sure.
And pitches are soft. They're high and soft is kind of the dividing line.
There you go. So, and like everybody divides it differently.
Sure.
So like, that's a chip shot, that's a pitch shot.
Sure.
Well, some people are like, the distance from the hole, if I'm 30 yards out, now it's a pitch. So there's all these different definitions.
Sure.
How we're going to define it just in this video is the difference between using leading edge and using bounce.
Okay.
So like how you're describing like lower shots.
Yeah.
Well, what are you using there? Are you using leading edge type shot, or are you using a bounce type shot?
Well, lower shots would be a little bit more leading edge.
There you go. And so how TJ is showing that, right, is more just in shaft lean. So if I have more shaft lean, right, without altering the axis of the face of the golf club,
sure,
right, now I've got leading edge interaction with the turf. So that's a chip shot, how we would define a chip shot.
Got it.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
But
so
bounce is more a pitch shot.
more pitch shot.
So we're delivering the club more in this respect.
Which we would just call neutral. So the shaft is just more or less within a few degrees, standing straight up and down from a face-on perspective.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
Okay, so we are utilizing the sole / bounce of the golf club.
Okay.
Okay, so in essence, like if you set it on concrete, right, and set it right down here, even like just holding the golf club, like you can do this at home if the shaft is straight up and down, you'll notice that the bounce of the golf club is the only portion of the golf club that has turf interaction there. Right? The leading edge would sit up because there's always, on every single wedge, I don't care how sharp it is or how much bounce you're taking off of it, there is still bounce on the golf club.
Right.
Even if you have a 2-degree bounce, which like is non-existent, like
Still
low
bounce.
low bounce is like 4 degrees for like a gap wedge. And then you get in a lob wedge, which typically is like between 8 and 12 bounce. So we're going to use bounce because we're pitching.
Okay.
So we're bounce biased and
Toe
to
bias.
some degree toe bias, exactly.
Okay.
And what I would encourage players to do is mess around with the amount of toe bias that you can get away with. The more the better, and we'll talk about why, but from 1 degree toe bias to a shaft that's standing straight up and down, so we're 17 degrees toe bias, right? Okay, so that's where we're going to start. Okay, so there's our introduction to the golf club. Now, let's just do this. Let's go ahead and just hit a couple of pitches, TJ, just so that we have a visual of, okay, what is a pitch shot really looking like here? We're not even going to describe it, we're just going to hit a couple. Good, very nice. Go ahead and hit one more for us. Good. So what's interesting right there, Tej, and we were just talking about this prior, like messing around with the golf club, that golf club right there was heel bias down, like 2 degrees.
Okay.
And most people do this because when we set up to a full shot, that's how the golf club looks.
Is it's
like,
a little more heel biased? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, even if you have a golf club that is, I don't know, 3 degrees toe down, you're still going to have shaft deflection, which is the bow out of the shaft this way with high speed golf shots. Like it bows down so it throws the toe down.
Okay.
So everybody's going to see a golf club visually where the toe is up slightly.
And think that looks normal.
And it looks right.
Okay.
When it's toe down, it looks wrong.
Yeah,
because of how we always approach a golf shot.
It just feels weird, right? Now I've hit a few toe down and it feels right, but when you're setting up to it, it's definitely a strange visual.
Exactly, and when you're saying it feels right, you're speaking about the strike. It feels good, like the hit feels right.
Yep.
So what's really interesting, that was the drop kicky one.
Yeah, I felt it almost kind of grabbing the turf a little bit, and when it hit the green, it didn't. Yeah, it jetted off. It didn't have the right.
Exactly. Exactly. So super, super interesting. So here's how we're going to go about just identifying toe bias versus heel bias. We're going to do 2 things. Okay. Always with the lead hand, you're going to hold it in your lifeline.
Okay.
Okay. Now showing people this, like if you can, TJ, let's get a little bit closer to the camera so you can show this.
Sure.
Okay. Just hold it like you normally would, just with the lead hand, like for a full swing. Okay. So you'll see how the grip of the golf club for TJ right now is sitting under his pinky pad. So you have 2 meaty pads, right? We got thumb pad and pinky pad.
Yep.
Simple enough. And so that acts almost like as a 6th finger right here to hold the golf club, like the pressure of the golf club underneath there.
Okay, got it.
What I want you to do is let the weight of the club head center of mass, this portion here, just fall until that, there we go. Now the grip, you'll feel this bounce, this falls down. And now the pressure of the grip comes into the thumb pad here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now you're holding it in the lifeline, because the lifeline is this space in between both both meaty pads in your hand, so it sits right in there.
Yeah, that's interesting. It
Yep.
kind of pulls my wrists into like a little bit more UD.
Exactly.
A little bit more if I'm going to set up that way. A little
Yep.
bit more toe bias.
Yep. And some people may feel a little bit more in the UD sector, but what actually happens, which is interesting, if I tell somebody, like I'm holding it normal there, to put that into a toe down position, they're going to go into more UD here to fake that out.
Oh.
Okay. So this is just a cheat.
So the lifeline just gets you there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Plus, when you're holding it in the fingers, if you will, so the golf club's sitting underneath the pinky pad, there's way more range of motion in the hands, which is great for leverage.
Okay.
Right? Like in a full swing, we need speed. So I have a lever here.
Sure.
There's a swinging point here. There's a lever down here. So we have I mean, there's more than this, but in essence, we have a system that's a two lever system, which can create more speed. Think of a catapult.
Got it.
Zoom. Right? That's how you can throw the rock so friggin' far. But in this situation, we don't need tons of speed.
No.
It'd be more beneficial to have a one lever system because it's just simpler.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. So that helps with two things. One lever system, so there's not as much range of motion now in hinging in the lifeline compared to the fingers. And two, what does it throw to the how do we affect the lie here?
More toe bias.
There you go.
More toe bias.
So we got a shaft that's steeper.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with that. Let's go ahead and hit a couple shots. Actually, I only need one shot, but TJ's just holding it in the lifeline of the lead hand. You can hold it in the lifeline of the trail hand if you prefer, if you would like to, but no big deal there. Now this is really cool. That golf club was toe down. That was slightly heavy, just like the previous heel bias shot.
Sure. But it reacted completely differently when it hit the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like completely differently.
Yeah.
Because now, like if around the greens, we want a golf ball that's coming out slow, so I can have speed. I can be aggressive in the hit.
Yep.
If I got it heel down and I hit it just a degree heavy,
You got to be very, very precise
boom.
that way.
Yep. The ball's going to come out fast.
Sure.
Okay. If I go toe down and have a little bit of turf interaction prior to the ball, it slows down the toe. So I still have loft on it, and it'll come out soft.
Sure.
Soft shot, like that one. That was
So
beautiful.
we're increasing kind of the margin for error here for most people.
Now you can either pure it or hit it slightly heavy
It'd still be okay.
and still be okay.
Okay.
Okay? So let's do one more thing, because I was saying there's two different ways to really throw the toe down.
Sure.
So that's one. It's a must. So it's always sitting in the lifeline of the lead hand.
Okay.
And number two, we're going to choke it now all the way down almost to the steel.
Okay.
Okay, just hit one there. So now you're going to have to get closer to it because it's a shorter golf club. Look at how toe down that sucker is now. That thing's like 5 or 6 degrees
Very
toe down, where the previous one was like a degree or two. Beautiful.
Oh,
and watch this.
Comes out way different. Go
Yeah! Come on now.
Let's go, bro.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is why I want players just experimenting with, like, okay, I got it 1 degree toe down, and it's a little uncomfortable just looking at it. Hit a few shots that way. Your comfort will go up because, like you're saying, the strike all of a sudden feels nice. That golf club was like 6 degrees toe down. And as soon as you hit it, what did you do?
Felt right, man.
No.
Felt good.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So that's one.
Okay.
Okay. Two, we're going to always tie this back to like our things that we really believe in that this is the engine.
Sure.
It's still going to be the engine.
Okay.
Okay.
When you say this is the engine, you're referring to
Ribs, chest, thoracic, blah, blah, blah.
up here.
Yep.
Got it.
This is what needs to motor the golf club.
Okay.
Okay. And we were talking about this a little bit before as well, but go ahead and if you can, just set up facing the camera for us, Teach. Sure. And let's motor the club. You just hold it the same way you just did.
Okay.
But let's motor the golf club now without using the chest system, and just use the hands and arm system to move the golf club back. Good. Right there, TJ's lead wrist went from a slight amount of extension in this lead wrist, and you'll see the slight cup when TJ's holding onto it. Now move it into the backswing. Okay, what you just did is now bowed out. added flexion into this lead wrist, loaded the trail wrist complex. So now let's go ahead and do this again, but down the line. Same action, how you're gonna motor it. That club face is dead shut. So you just move the golf club from a bounce position at address to now a leading edge position. Because if you just turn, yeah, exactly, do that from face on so we can see that. See where the shaft is, go ahead and set up again for us. So shaft is relatively vertical, within a few degrees. Swing into the backswing. Okay, good. Now how would you get into the strike? There you go. Great for full swing mechanics.
Not so good for a pitch shot. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so instead what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and face the camera again.
Sure.
And let's do this in slow-mo so folks can kind of see the trickle down from engine, leaks into the arms, leaks into the hands, leaks into the club. This is gonna just sit here for a second as you start to motor this and rotate the chest. Okay, keep on going all the way into the backswing. Good, and what we should see, let's do that again. We can even improve it just a little bit. So this angle right here, go ahead and start motoring the chest. That's what I want to see a slight bit. Because that action right there, we increased the extension in the lead wrist. Okay, that's what we need. That keeps the bounce on the golf club. If you were to leverage it, we might throw a little bit of radial, which is just hinging the golf club straight up and down. But look at the difference in the flange now.
It's wide open, yeah.
Yeah, it's still square. The leading edge, shaft, and lead arm are all square with one another. Go ahead and go down the line now for us. Okay. We'll do the exact same thing, where we're gonna go chest, 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 boom, a little bit of radial. Look at the difference of that golf club. Plus now, we want this complex, center of mass, club head, outside the hand slightly. If we load this more,
it gets inside the hands.
Exactly, now we've got leading edge, okay? It's under the plane, and now we've got a bad shape for pitching. If we're looking to utilize bounce through the strike.
Some more of that picture
There we go. So let's hit some shots here now where the image in your mind is this trickle down from chest, goes into the arms, into the hands, and what you need to feel in the hands is that action.
It's a little bit of this.
Exactly. There.
Okay.
Yes. Beautiful grip. Motor it with the chest. The club head will respond. Beautiful look. Beautiful. And that one was actually hit cruddy.
Yeah. Still worked out.
Yeah, you just hit like kind of a tight lie, a little pitch that'll catch your attention when you're playing. Hit it to 3 feet.
Yeah, we'll take that.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
The piered one went in the hole. The hit went to 3 feet.
Okay. That's kind of the way we would like to see that happen. All
yeah,
right.
you need room for error.
I want another crack at that one.
Absolutely. Quit messing around and hole it. Just use the chest. It'll leak down into the club head. Beauty.
Much better on that one.
Yep, exactly. And so now we have a piered one that went to 1.5 feet. The hit was 3 feet. We don't have any catastrophic like, oh shoot, just doinked it right here, or it came off really fast because I'm using heel side.
Yeah.
That's not how you pitch.
No, that's not how you
can't pitch that way.
This makes the game a whole heck of a lot harder.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Last piece here, we'll just throw in a bit of rhythm.
Okay.
Okay. So the way that we're going to really motor this, like in full swings, we have energy back and then we have energy forward. And Luke Brackey likes to talk about it as like either a 1 to 2, a 2 to 4, a 3 to 6 in full swing.
So meaning parts energy in the backswing versus parts energy on the way through?
Exactly.
So 1 to 2?
Yep.
Kind of like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what we want to see here is 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. It's the same part back and same part forward.
So never really adding in more energy in the downswing. You're just maintaining the energy you had in the backswing? Is that the idea?
But how people are going to view this is a 2 to 1 or 1.5.
So they may even feel like it's like less energy on the downswing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So interesting study, and I can't remember the group. If I can find it, then I will. We can absolutely add it in the comments after we post this.
Sure.
But group did a study on acceleration for PGA Tour players in putting and in short game, and found that the golf club was actually decelerating into the golf ball at the strike, which is super interesting.
Super interesting.
Because everybody and their dog goes, accelerate it. You got to swing through it.
Yeah. It's like one
BS,
of the
man.
no-nos.
That's not what the best do.
Don't decel. That's the big thing for most people, right?
And we're saying do decel.
Do decel. Okay.
The golf club should swing back and it should fall back forward.
Oh.
So this right here, this is actually accelerating. 9.8 meters per second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But what we want, like where the golf ball is going to be placed, if the club is directly underneath me, that's going to be its fastest point. Where's that golf ball placed in my stance?
Slightly ahead of center.
Exactly. So it would be accelerating, 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 decelerating, decelerating, decelerating.
Just based on gravity.
Just
right?
based on gravity.
Okay.
Just by letting the golf club from here do this.
Huh.
So how you're going to manage how far you throw it is based on how many parts energy we have in the backswing. Okay. So how much energy am I putting in here to send this away? Is it a small pitch that I want to hit 1 foot in front of me? Is it a larger pitch that I want to throw maybe a few more yards?
But we're not changing what we do through here. We're only changing how much that's just going to fall. That's the idea, right?
Yep, exactly. So the idea here is what we will see, because we've got a deceleration pattern happening. Like if you remember the bowling ball experiment in science class where you held the bowling ball, right? And you let it go and it goes to the other side of the room and here it comes, it's going to murder you, right? And it always slow.
Yep.
Exactly. So we have that. Plus we have turf interaction.
Okay.
So it's going to slow down things here.
Okay.
So how far the golf club swings on this side is going to be shorter than how far it swings back here.
Interesting.
Okay. So if I'm here going swing, boom, and you can see, like, I'm not actively shutting it off. It's not this boom.
No.
Right? It's here, fall.
Yep.
Here, fall.
Cool.
Okay. So we'll feel it fall here, like if you swing it back and let it fall. Now the only reason it goes over here is because we're going to continue to turn the chest slightly to some degree.
So if I wasn't going to turn the chest, it would.
Exactly.
But
what
with a little chest.
There you go. Exactly. And most people won't even feel like they're rotating the chest much.
Sure.
You're going to, like absolutely every player is going to turn over here.
Okay.
So it doesn't need to be this active rotate. There's just a little bit of like, if I'm hitting it heavy, sure, just move the center of mass of the ribs slightly forward. There you go. And now you can control the bottom of it.
I see.
To the correct degree, so you just season it up correctly.
Okay.
So, same picture. We're going to hit 2 shots here.
Sure.
And I bet you dollars to donuts you can't make one of them.
How about I make them both? How about
Okay,
that?
here we go. So the intention is to make, but it's through this system. You're managing the golf club, you're managing its energy. Let's pure this. Go ahead and knock it in. Really cool shot though.
I like the way it reacted, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, now you got your one little, like, 1 rep. Knock it in. Hard. See, and that's actually a good one to see, because that one came out low and spinny. That was a groove low on the face. So this proves, like, our whole theory here is you can either pure it or hit it slightly heavy. We can't hit it thin.
You're not looking for thin on this type of shot. Interesting.
Yep, exactly. And plus, like, now we're managing the angle of attack into the ball.
Sure.
Because if I'm motoring it here, what's that angle of attack going to be into the golf ball compared to if I'm motoring it with the chest? See how, like, low the golf club stays?
Yeah, interesting.
So the angle of attack is this really nice shallow angle. We're not hitting drivey low spinners. Spin is the enemy in this shot.
In this soft type
In this
of pitch.
shot, exactly. We want the golf ball coming in with a low angle, or like a small angle of attack, like lower angle of attack here, with the shaft kind of straight up and down. It should look like you just toss a ball up onto the green and it just goes boom, 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 like a bag of sand. Is perfect, right? It's not this hard, spinny, cool one. It's just a toss shot.
Just a toss shot, which makes the game pretty dang easy if you can execute a toss shot.
Now, exactly, because now the golf ball, like, once it hits, you can visualize it as a putt from that point forward, rather than like, check, check, oh, spun too early, now I have 10 feet, or it never spun. right? And it's just super guessy. So it's
Sure.
always just boom, runs like a putt, boom,
Cool.
runs like a putt. But in order to get that, gotta understand the tool first to some degree, right?
Yep.
We're toe bias, not heel bias here.
Toe bias.
Understanding bounce rather than leading edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then understanding how our body, mainly the chest, leaks down into the arms and hands. A little bit of RD here is totally fine to just leverage the golf club, but this is the main motor.
Bingo.
You start doing that, we're gonna have some really, really nice like responses out of the golf ball around the green and make short game a heck of a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Game on?
Game on.
Pitching, baby.